Is it still morning?
We're getting close.
Getting close?
Well,
Hello. Hello is how we say. Okay, first, a little bit of housekeeping. I think you'll agree with me, all the food is very good. Help yourselves. The only thing is the oatmeal raisin cookies are just, they don't taste good at all. Don't take any of them. I'll take them home and now that we've established trust here, I would like to welcome you all to HD Energy Solutions Lunch and Learn. We're really glad you're here. Today, as you know, we're going to have some food, we're going to have some fun, play a game or two. But most importantly, we are here today to show you an incredible and ecologically friendly way for you to save an awful lot of money. Now, my name is Mike Simmons. I'll be presenting today. I will be joined by Ryan Close and Mike Myers. They will follow me. And each one of us will tell a segment of this story. Now, I'd like to get started by talking about one simple word: progress. Now, by a show of hands, can you tell me, anybody here, when you got in your car to come here, did you have to get in front and crank the engine before you got started? No. Okay. How about anybody pushing 8-track tape into their player for some music? No, I'm batting zero here.
Don't do it very good, Mike.
Yeah, good old days. No. Okay. Did anybody go to Walmart last week and buy one of those little yellow plastic things that used to snap in 45s so they fit on the stick? Okay. Strike three. I'm out. Okay, my last one. Remember the good old days where it took 2 hands to hold your cell phone? Okay. Well, I guess
bargain at $2 a minute, huh?
Oh yeah. I guess I'm old fashioned. Yeah, the phone moved down. Yeah. I think Superman. But I go ahead. Okay. So we can see technology advances everywhere. Every day, in every area, we get advances in technology, including lighting. And that's what we're here to talk about. How advances in lighting technology can save you a lot of money. Now, I'd like to direct your attention to our television. We're going to go through a PowerPoint presentation. Very simply, we are HD Energy Solutions. And who are we? We are a local electrical company that's making a conscious effort. We're dedicated to helping people reduce energy and help the environment. Now, thank you very much. I got that little frog in my throat. One of the ways we do this is we go to businesses and churches and establishments and give you a free, no-cost energy survey. And what that does is we find inefficiencies in your buildings. We give you a way to solve that problem. We're not going to just give you the bad news. We have the good news as well. We have a complete and professional proposal we will give you, which shows how much money you're losing from inefficient equipment, how it affects your bottom line, and also the environmental impact on the amount of inefficiencies in your respective buildings. What we really want to help you do is that old phrase: reduce, recycle, and reuse. And I'd like to ask you, if this makes sense to you, by the end of the day, we'd like to ask you to join us in our efforts to make our buildings more efficient. Next screen, please. It's really about going green. Oh, and helping the environment. Okay. Next one, please. Thank you. Now, I know everybody has had a chance to talk and mingle a little bit, but I'd like to ask for a few hands, a few volunteers. Tell me who you are, who you're with, and why you're here. Anybody like to go first? Okay.
George Nyrzell, and I'm here with there are 4 of us from Guardian Angels Catholic Church in Westport.
Excellent. Excellent. What do you hope to get from this meeting?
Well, just to learn more about, I guess, LED lighting is the main focus from what I understand.
Have you guys taken any type of steps yourselves as an organization to do other things to improve efficiency in other places?
Yes, yeah, I mean, the basic stuff.
Basic stuff? Okay. Good.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody else would like to share who they are, why they're here? Yes?
Linda Boyd from St. Tobias. some money that we can maybe look into.
And you
some of this.
impacted the local neighborhood as well, because those people showed up and dropped off stuff that would have hit the trash.
Exactly, and we kept 3 dumpsters out of the, out of the
Thanks.
landfills.
Very good. You mentioned something, money to do this. Hold on to that thought. Next screen, please. Very happy that you mentioned that, because I think you're going to like something that we have to share with you. Okay. By the way, Mr. Ryan Close did this PowerPoint presentation. A lot better than I could have put this together, so thank you. Okay. Now, we've talked about this a little bit, but why are we here? We at HD Energy Solutions would like to provide you, first of all, with useful knowledge and turnkey solutions. Knowledge is power only if you can use it. We want to give you improved lighting technology and fast returns on your investments. Hold on to that thought. We got more. Lower lighting and maintenance budgets, more energy efficient buildings, and zero-cost startup programs. We can actually, in some cases, give you a positive cash flow right from the start. And that's thanks to technology. We'd like to earn your business and make you happy you do it. Okay, one of the things that we try to do, and I think you see it in churches and everything, we like to be leaders. I think everybody knows the value of a team. One person can do one thing. The Bible says one person can put 1,000 to a flight to 10,000. So if we can make our buildings more efficient and make other people aware of what we've done, and they multiply and make their buildings more efficient, we've started a revolution, and maybe we won't lose all our ice caps to global warming. Yes?
And the other thing with congregations, if they see that the congregation does it, then the individual members, if they go, oh, our
Yes.
leadership, they do it there, then that's part of the idea, then they'll go home and do their homes or where other places.
Yeah, and it can multiply.
That's right.
I mean, I'm kind of a sci-fi buff. I like to watch futuristic movies. And it's amazing the technology they have imagined, flying cars and all kinds of things. And I'm not talking about the Jetsons, but what if we could get there in the real world? What if we could really change things around? Just as an example, I was in a Best Buy store in Overland Park. I looked up and I was shocked. They had dozens and dozens and dozens of those big dome lights, 400-watt bulbs, in that one store alone. If we were to swap all of those out with LEDs, we were looking at saving them just over $9,000 a month in one store. I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch. I haven't gone online and figured out how many Best Buy stores there are across the country, but just do the math, $9,000 a month in one store. Incredible. So, energy reduction pays off immediately, okay? Your buildings, your wallets, and your world. Let's go with your buildings. Obviously, if you invest in your buildings, the building value goes up. Upgraded technology always improves the value of a building. Buildings also become more appealing and attractive. As you drive around downtown, new buildings are being renovated, painted, just made nicer. And buildings with better technology have a healthier environment. Now that might raise an eyebrow or two, but I'm going to explain that because it is the truth. As most of you know, I misplaced my bottle of Advil again, and I was starting to get a headache. I am very familiar with headaches. And studies have shown fluorescent lights do help people get headaches, because even when they're not old and you can see the old Frankenstein look and the lights flickering and the buzzing back and forth, even when they look new and bright and steady, they still flicker. And the eyes have to go like this, and the muscles. And people with headaches are lower in production. So there is a hidden cost in improving the lighting just by having people more productive in their work. LEDs provide a very clean, solid, steady light. Beautiful. You'll see those downstairs. On your wallets, We have tax incentives and rebates incentives from power companies. As soon as you get your taxes, you get money back. That ought to be an incentive not to wait till April 15th. Drastic maintenance reductions are possible. I've met several people, they say they come from a church. Boy, I've seen some churches, the ceilings are very high. You got to get a scissor truck or a cherry picker. Or in your parking lot, you got to have some monster truck stabilized, going up, just change the light bulb. What if we could completely take away the need to change a light bulb? Because LEDs are not light bulbs. They're solid-state electronic components. No need to change light bulbs anymore. Okay. Lower electrical demand charges and zero cost to get started. Hold on that thought. Lower electrical demand charges. What is that? What does that mean? Can anybody tell me what that means? Oh, you're cheating. Don't. You're cheating. Does anybody who doesn't know what it means can tell me what it means? Okay.
You're not using the energy.
Okay. Go home today and look at your electric bill for your home or your business. Look on the back. You will find that you are paying a certain rate per kilowatt hour for the first chunk of energy that you get. Once you pass a certain limit of energy, they charge you slightly higher amounts for the next amount of energy that you use. And if you break that limit, they charge you an even higher rate for the next amount of energy. Did I say it right?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. And so, what if we could drastically slash your electric bill so that you never, ever, ever break the limit, the first ceiling, and you never have to pay the higher rates for the amount of electricity you need? And of course, saving your world. We help out the environment. Obviously, using less electricity means we need to produce less electricity. Less pollution is created by producing that energy. And of course, people follow your leadership, like we talked about. We get the ball rolling here. There's no limit to what we can do. We can make this country so much more energy efficient. And if it starts right here in Kansas City, great. It can spread out in every direction. People follow your leadership, and your efforts will not go unnoticed. And so, next screen, please. Lighting 101, and the following slides will be presented by Mr. Ryan here. I'd like to thank you for your time. Ryan.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, well, I'm pretty much here to give you the idea, just let everybody know what light bulbs are out there. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with what's out there. We're just kind of go through the history of the light bulb. One click, please. Starting out, we've got a fluorescent light bulb. I'm sure everybody's familiar with fluorescent light bulbs. They're actually one of the first light bulbs ever invented. I'd say about 80% of the lights that we use today are running about a fluorescent light bulb. Of course, you can't forget the good incandescent bulb that Edison brought to us. You know, back when you watch cartoons, it's going to be strange seeing cartoons have an LED pop above their head when they have a good thought. So it's kind of sad to see that go away for iconic reasons, but we're glad to see it go away. These light bulbs right here, the reason why they're so inefficient is because almost 80% of the electricity used to power that light bulb is converted to heat. So 20% light, 80% heat, we're actually using more efficient heaters than we are light bulbs. So you notice everybody's ran into these guys. Anybody happy with the light outputs coming from those curly key bulbs?
No.
They're not bad. The ones at my house, I bought a lot of them and they've already gone out and they didn't last the 5 years that they claimed. I've been pretty upset with that. My wife spent like $75 on light bulbs for our vanity. I mean, it was blowing like 200 watts because she has all the lights in there, and we moved them down to these, but almost all of them already burned out. Again, it's good. If that's all you can go to right now, or if you've already gone to that, I commend you. But again, we've got mercury in here. We've got glass. If that makes it to the landfill, it's going to cause a problem. We We also have induction lighting. This was actually one of the first lights actually made. Nicole Tesla invented this thing. It's basically a similar fluorescent tube with big giant magnets with a lot of electricity running through there. So the mercury will bounce around, or the fluorescent vapor will bounce around off that light, create an intense amount of light. However, these are kind of efficient. They were ahead of their time when they were invented, but compared to an LED, they're not very efficient when you compare them to the LED. And again, they've got glass and they need to be replaced. We're actually here to talk about these LEDs. They come in all shapes and sizes. If you have a special light you feel that you can't get a light bulb for, take it easy, take a deep breath. They've got the bulb out there, you just got to really search for them. It's kind of why we're good, because we can, provide you the information. This is the bulb you want for this light. If you want this light, the bulbs are there. The technology has been proven. I'm pretty sure they're not using incandescent bulbs on the space station right now. I'm sure they have a lot of LEDs working up there. So just by going to an LED light fixture, what you're going to see is, yes, they are a little expensive, but when you weigh out the length of time that those things last, which 50,000 hours is not uncommon to get. They have 100,000 hour rated LEDs. You're actually saving a ton of money immediately because of the actual maintenance cost. And again, can't forget about natural sunlight. It is the best way to light things up. This is the only efficiency we have in our offices, unfortunately, except for our office that we've created. We put LEDs in our office because we kind of have to live the lifestyle in order to get everybody else to follow in suit with the lifestyle. So we did make our changes, and we're here to ask if you guys want to make the changes. We'd like to be here to help you do that. We can go to the next slide, please. I'm going to kind of get a little bit of information about how long has it been since your light bulbs were invented, and what has changed since the light bulb was invented. Can anybody, in 1856, does anybody know any stats or figures that happened back then, or anything that happened in 1856? A lot of stuff has happened since then. But what's funny is that invention is still being utilized today. How many people, like Mike said, still using the big cell phone or carrying around lanterns to light their houses? No one is. So my question is, why is this happening? We can go to the next slide. Why is this happening? One more. So what this is this is a basic forefathers of the fluorescent lamp. These are good-looking guys, aren't they? A lot of German fellows there. They have a knack for creating the technology that we need. Most of the technology we use today has come from Germany. But you can notice 1856, 1934, the inventor of the fluorescent tube lamp. 35, they decide, instead of having a clear tube, we're going to put white phosphorus inside the tube to make it glow a certain color that we want. Just a lot of history. You can see that one guy saw his bulb, and then he's like, you know what, I'm going to take the invention and I'm going to make it my own. And then it just gradually turned into what we use today. And for the most part, they're kind of the same thing. There's not been much difference except for kind of add-ons. It's kind of like your phone. They've added a camera to it. They've added an ability to see pictures. Not much has really changed, and especially in efficiency. Back then, those guys didn't care about efficiency. They just wanted to light things up. Back then, efficiency was the last thing they were thinking about. They were thinking about how can they make what they have better to advance the product. We'll go to the next slide.
Can they get a picture of that?
Can you?
Copy of it? Yeah.
I'll print that for you, yeah, sure. So I kind of put together a little timeline of what has happened since the modern light bulb that we currently use today was invented. One more time, please. 1890, Dr. James Naismith, a physical education professor, Young Men's Christian Association Training School, introduced the game of basketball. Happy for that. I love basketball. Henry Ford, 1909. The man revolutionized the way the motor vehicle and the way things were produced in America. 15 million Model T cars made it across his sales floor. Coca-Cola sold its first bottle in 1893. First used as a medicine, now it's used as a refreshing drink. Now you guys, What's that?
Well, Coca-Cola had something originally in it that,
Yeah, it was cocaine. They used it to
Cocaine, yeah.
soothe stomachs. They used it as an actual medicinal syrup. But then they were like, hey, this is good. I want to drink it all the time. So they turned it into the market to where it's safe to use for everyone, which I don't even know how safe it is because it eats
Copper pennies.
it eats copper pennies and turns them clean. I love Coca-Cola, I tell you that. And you all have seen how the bottle has changed over time. I've got an explanation on that and why it's done that. They went from using a lead bottle to now a plastic bottle. So you can see the progression there. AT&T, 1927, the first transmission made it across the Atlantic from New York and London. Another flight across the Atlantic in 27, Charles Lindbergh, Spirit of St. Louis. Solo flight across the transatlantic flight. The man flew by himself in the airplane that he built, that he started flying and he flew across the, it's just amazing to me. It's one of the most amazing achievements in the history of man, I think. Edmund Germer, this is the man that built the metal vapor halide light. These are the ones you see in your street lights, the big giant bulbs. They use immense amount of pressure of light. They do produce great light. However, it's great light, a lot of electricity. The payoff isn't so great. He's kind of a forefather in the technology department when it comes to lighting. We'll go to the next slide, please. Okay, let's get a little idea of how things have been changing. Keep clicking. There's Dr. James Naismith with the first basketball and basket. Anybody recognize that peach basket? Now we got an NBA breakaway backboard that Shaquille O'Neal can break. Could you imagine Shaquille O'Neal dunking on that? There's our basketball. It was actually a piece of hunk of leather sewn together so they could play. It didn't bounce too well either, from what I heard. Now we have a new patent leather that they use. The technology has advanced in sports. There we go, Model T. Look at that thing. Could anybody imagine driving down the road in that thing today and hitting the bump on I-70? What your wooden wheel would do? Here's what's funny to me. Inside that, they would put candles. And they would put glass in front of the candles so it didn't get blown out, and that was their headlight. So you can see this right here is the Veyron Bugatti. It's got 1,155 horsepower, 7 radiators. It can use 18 gallons of gas in 7 minutes. That's the baddest car on the planet right now. I kind of put that on there just kind of give you an idea. You know, it looks like it'll fly, if you ask me. I think there's only 7 produced in the world. I think a bunch of sheiks in Saudi Arabia own them, if I'm familiar. And don't forget Jay Leno. He has one. Next model, next thing, please. There's that Coca-Cola bottle. Look, doesn't that look like a medicine bottle right there? An old medicine bottle? Yep, that was, and you can notice this was a lead glass. They changed it. They found out that the sunlight going through was affecting their potion, so they advanced it. And then they moved to after 15. This is when the bottle kind of got iconic. You see the iconic bottle, and then here we are now with our non-BPA Coca-Cola bottle that is floating all across the world right now. So kind of want to ask, in this advancement, what was better? I know it's cheaper to produce, but you're kind of at odds. That's kind of a spot where the world needs to figure things out in containers. But we did advance. This uses hardly any energy to produce compared to the heat you need for light. So they are getting more efficient. But again, their efficiency is for their bottom line, not for your pocketbook. Yeah, they want to be more efficient to make more money, not to save you money. They'll charge you the same. All right, next slide we're going to see is Charles, the phone. Yeah. I don't know if anybody ever had a party line back in the day where you could pick up the phone. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, there's somebody talking on there. You call the operator, they connect you manually. You got the party line. We got the standard rotary phone. Here's the first cell phone. You know, the $9 a minute. I just got my first bill for $2,000. Cell phones advancement. This is a 4-year advancement. How fast the phone's changed in 4 years. And then this is what's coming out now. It's the new iPhone 6. It's going to have a hologram. It'll produce a keyboard of light that you can type. Crazy. I can't wait to see the line for people standing for that one. It'll be just for days. I'll probably be selling tickets to get in line at that place. But the advancements, it's amazing how fast it happened. We'll go to the next slide. They must often change who would be constant in happiness and wisdom. Kind of put that in there, kind of just think about, you know, what is changing? Are we changing? Are we happy with the changes? Click again. Charles Lindbergh's plane. One more click. Spirit of St. Louis. He flew that hunk of junk for 33 and a half hours across the ocean by himself. Transatlantic flight. He did it for a mere sum of $25,000 a banker gave him because he did it. Now, today, one more, we've got the most technologically advanced airplanes. Today, a commuter flight from New York to Paris, which Mr. Lindbergh achieved in 33 and a half hours, takes about 7 hours and 55 minutes. So everybody say thank you that we've advanced so we don't have to endure that flight. That was a really, really brave achievement that he did. Yeah.
It's shorter than that one.
It's shorter now?
With an SRS 170.
Okay. Well, I would almost say it'd take a couple hours and that thing would fly there. But yeah, the average flight, I don't know if that was the Boeing 747 or which, I don't know if it was the Airbus, but the notes I got was from the Federal Airlines Association. So they have...
We don't fly those.
Yeah, they don't let us have those things, you know. It would be nice to have a 2-hour trip to Europe once in a while, but this kind of, you can see the difference in the advancement, and then that's where we come to the point is, how come our bulbs are not advanced? What's going on? How come we're not using these already? Again? Oh, it's coming. One more. How long has it been since the bulbs we use were first introduced? 86 years. 86 years. So technically, we're using the same technology that our grandparents, my grandparents used, and a lot of people prior to that used. All our lives have been changed by technology. Buildings and properties are affected by technology advancement. Advancements increase efficiency and property value. Focused efforts are currently taking place, as you guys know, we're here today, to make buildings more efficient. Technology is reducing carbon footprints, which is good. I don't know if anybody knows what your current carbon footprint is. I know mine is huge. I have a 6 mile per gallon truck. I use a gas furnace. My wife keeps all the lights on. You know, but we're working on it. It's a progressive thing. Properties publicly identify you and your company's global climate awareness. People are going to see when they walk into a building, dingy lights, flickering, flashing, or they're going to see bright, brilliant light that the LED produces. A true fact is the first thing your eye sees when you walk into a building is light. That's the first thing you see. That's the only thing that gives you the visual image of what we're picking up on. So it's important to have good light. Building technology is economically upgradable. I mean, economical. We now have the ability to make this functional and actually something that you can obtain. Next slide, please. Now we're going to try a little lighting demonstration here. Basically what we're going to do, we'll have Mike, I'm going to let Mike take it back over. We're going to basically show you how, 2 clicks please, this and this equals burning money. And I guess that would be a great time for you, truthfully. I think we could give the floor to you. I didn't even know you were going to have this brilliant piece of machinery here. If you guys want... You want to do that now, if you want?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's a perfect time for light demonstration. Then, Mike, you can grab the folks that, any volunteers, actually, that's my next question.
I need 2 volunteers, please.
2 volunteers. We're going to do
2
a great
brave
little
souls.
fun game right fast to demonstrate how LED technology.
Okay.
1, we got 1, all right. Anybody else?
Here's one.
Okay.
Okay, we got 2, all right.
Okay.
Self-centered, why not?
Okay. So if you guys I guess, take a hike with Mike right quick, and he's going to give you an idea of what we're going to do and set it up. And then I'll let the floor be taken over by our Energy Star guy, and he'll give you a quick little lighting demo on his.
Sure. Many of you know me from other events. My name's Craig Bernstein. I work with the EPA's Energy Star program. I just also wanted to say I brought some literature and things for you if you haven't got it in the past. It might be helpful to look at. This sort of excited me. Lighting is very interesting for many reasons, and a lot of them have already been expressed. The technology's changing so fast. That's one of the reasons I came here today, was to keep up with the technology. And I also want to say Energy Star, for those of you that may or may not know about it, goes back, has a history of about 20 years. I think we're in our 21st year now. And the Energy Star program started out as a program called Green Lights. And the reason EPA is at all involved in energy efficiency, we're not the Department of Energy, obviously, although Department of Energy is a partner in the Energy Star program with us. But the reason EPA got into energy in the first place is we saw that there was a lot of pollution and a lot of health effects just because of inefficient use of energy. And one of the easiest and quickest ways for most organizations, homes, businesses, congregations, etc., reduce that energy use was to do things with their lighting. And like I said, the program is called Green Lights. And one of the things I always try and say is there's conservation. And back in the days, many of us remember back in the kind of oil crisis of the 70s and early 80s, how conservation back then was conserved by turning off one of your light bulbs. To conserve, we go up there and we unscrew a light bulb. Well, the Energy Star premise was maintain what you're doing, but be efficient. So it wasn't turning off the lighting. You still needed a certain amount of lighting. It was how would you get that lighting more efficiently. And in the early days, the older technology, obviously, the incandescence is really inefficient. And in the current days, there's a lot of fluorescent lighting that you still see in buildings, and there's all levels of it from different efficiencies. And then the most recent technology is, of course, the LED type of lighting. There's many facets. They'll talk about life of lighting and everything else. But once again, back in the Green Lights days, the average business could go through, change out their lighting, their fluorescent lighting, these big T12s, the 1.5 inch tubes, to T8s, the inch tubes, the big long fluorescent tubes. They produce the same amount of light, and they'd only use 2/3 of the electricity to do it. So you were getting your lighting, and you're saving 1/3 of your energy, and all that coal wasn't being burned immediately, and all that mercury and everything else that comes off the coal, we weren't breathing. So I like, there's many ways to express things, and you probably see me use numbers and costs, but the simple thing is this. I love using this, and I'm going to see how close I can get where you can all see this. But most of you know what that is, don't you? You've all got one on your house, and if you don't, the Car and Light Company probably wants to know about it. And businesses too. And what's the relationship of this wheel? Somebody tell me. The faster it turns, and what else?
times it turns.
Yeah, and what else?
You use more energy, more money, your bill goes up.
And lots of things. You're sending a bigger check to the power company. You're using a lot more energy, which means you're burning all that coal and polluting, et cetera, et cetera. So here's the old technology, and tell me how fast. Can anybody here? I'll block the light. You see how fast that wheel is spinning? If you can't, come up a little closer. Okay. And I've got different lights that we can put in here, but What's the difference in those two lights? Half? Are you sure it's just half?
Oh, it's, yeah, less than way. Probably,
Here, let's talk numbers for it. What kind of light's that? Incandescent, Edison technology, right? There's a watt meter. How many watts am I burning? 103 watts. And that light bulb, is light measured in watts or something else? Lumens, right. But why do we use watts all the time?
That's what you pay for.
Because it's a measure that we're used to. It's really how much energy is being used and what you're paying for. The more watts you use over an amount of time, you pay for that. Does that look like the same amount of light?
No.
It's not quite. It's probably about half because we didn't have a 1600 lumen bulb to put in here to show you right now. But what I did want to show you is there's a lot of comments.
This is a 60 watt equivalent, correct?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
it's
60, but it's still, as you can tell, it's close.
It's 800 lumens. It's half the amount. So double the numbers that I'm going to show you. What were we using before? What's that one say? 8 watts.
Yeah.
Okay. Put 2 of them in. You got 1600 lumens equivalent. You may be using 16 watts, or probably even less than that when you get a more efficient bulb. And of course, you see different shapes and different colors and all the sizes that they were talking about. But look at that wheel. Really good. And what's the other aspect they've already talked about? How often do these burn out?
It seems like every 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
It seems like.
And how often did your fluorescents burn out? You said
Mine were under,
Pardon?
my pigtails were.
I thought we didn't work right out of the box.
Yes, some don't. And I could go into a whole spiel on Energy Star and the specs and why we set the specs up and why we test things. And you notice some things that do and don't burn out, do or don't have that government label on it.
Let me ask you a question. You know, you can get the different Kelvin temperatures on your lights.
Yes.
And it seems to me that if you go to the high Kelvin, the blue white light, that they burn out faster. They have shorter lives.
I know.
I don't know the answer to that. I've never had anyone say or ask me that before. You're the first person.
What was the question?
About
If you're using
time of
Was it high
burnout related to
if you're
Kelvin
using like a
temperature.
6500 Kelvin versus a 2700.
Does everybody know what we're talking about? Here, let me show you. This will take a second. Light comes in colors, and the reason why do we like this yellow-orange color? Does anybody know?
It's soothing.
More
It's
like
soothing.
sunlight.
What else? What else?
flattering.
Flattering. Does somebody like bluish light better?
I like mine.
Okay.
Yeah, I like
Who
the
likes
bright white.
sunlight best of all?
Yeah, I like sunlight.
Light, you like that? Well, light comes in lots of different colors. And they say the reason we like the yellow-orange color is because we evolved around campfires, and that was the color of the fire. And those are the things that our eyes, no, seriously, that our eyes adjusted to. And if you look at daylight or blue light, under the same lighting conditions, I've seen experiments where if you're looking at an eye chart under yellow-orange light, you'll see a certain level on the chart, maybe 20/20. If you do nothing more than change the color of the light to the more bluish lights or the daylight colors, your visual acuity will actually drop a lot to 20/15, even under the same lumen value of light. But here, I'm going to show you, one of these is an old Energy Star label bulb under an earlier spec, and one's not. But does anybody see a difference?
Yeah.
What's the difference? It's the color, right? And how do they measure color? Does anybody?
Kelvin's Kelvin.
The temperature, this Kelvin number they put on it. And the lower that number, the 2700 range of Kelvin temperature, is it more of this yellow-orange spectrum. And the higher number, the 6500s, are more of the blue type Kelvin temperatures. And with all of that said, I still don't know the answer about why that one will burn out sooner than that one.
But I'll tell you what our observation is. In our name, we didn't want to disturb the congregation when we swapped out the incandescents. So it shows the 2700, so they wouldn't notice that we changed the bulb. But the choir in the back, up high, they wanted really bright lights, so we put in the 6500 or 5700, something like that, because they wanted the bright light, because as you said, they can see better to read their music.
Interesting.
And we have to change their light bulbs more.
And maybe a manufacturer's difference, the cost of these tend to be in this ballast and more electronics and things you put in there to smooth things out, have something to do with that. It can also be, many times I have the same situation in my vanity light at home, that I'll burn out the fluorescence, even though I use a quarter of the energy that an incandescent does. That's kind of why I put them in, because you don't get all that heat and you still get the same amount of light. But I notice sometimes they'll burn out fast, and there's many reasons for that. One reason, if you get a reduction in voltage, a voltage drop on fluorescence, and the ballasts aren't designed for that fluctuation, it'll diminish the life. Another reason is some bulbs are designed to be put in an upright position, and if you put them down, their life sometimes doesn't last as long. There's many reasons. It'd be interesting, but the color, it's the first time anyone's ever expressed that. So I just wanted to show you the meter and give you that and offer any of the energy information that we have is all sitting over there. You're welcome to take any questions. I probably talked longer than you wanted to see.
Thank you very much.
I would like to make one comment. When I teach classes, I love fluorescent. I preach on them, but it's the biggest con game going. They don't last. So, yeah, I write the manufacturer, I tell people to write the manufacturer's phone number on when they do use them, and call them, they'll send you brand new light bulbs.
Thank you.
But it's a con game, and they're made in China, which is another issue, but.
Well, one thing I will say, from the Energy Star point of view, we'll set a specification on lighting, and we keep it neutral. We don't support any particular manufacturer. We don't support any particular technology. We just set a specification. What you're trying to get is light, when somebody can produce it with the technology at the most efficient way, that's great for us. And so when we put that label on, we're saying they've met that technology. What we're finding right now is LEDs are advancing so fast and cost so much more. But the main thing is, what they've already said, is LEDs, the life of them is almost unknown right now. They can't test them long enough to really see where they're going to fail.
LEDs?
Yes, and LEDs. And those high spots in the steeple and places you got to get to, you know, just the maintenance savings alone is worth putting them in, not to mention the energy savings and environmental savings and everything else.
Okay, folks, Craig, thank you very much. I want to give a special thank you to Carol Meyer for helping me put this thing together. She's been a wonderful help. She's a wonderful lady, and I think you guys all know her, and I'm proud to be associated with her. Yeah. Craig, thank you very much as well. I appreciate you coming. I'm going to get with you, and we're going to learn. Guys, I want to take this to a personal level. This is the way I feel. This is who I am. Well, real quickly, some of this is just about dollars and cents. See that little thing I have in front of you down at the bottom? That is the monthly savings at the giant facility that we are working on. They're going to save that kind of money in 1 month. And one of the guys that I was working with says, we have this new addition going on to the bay out back, and yada, yada, yada. And he says, how can I present this to my boss at this time? And I said, what are you adding on back there? And he told me they're adding on to the car shop to work on the cars and all that kind of stuff. And I said, I don't know, month one, is it going to return $13,974 a month? He goes, probably not. I think I can take that to my boss. I said, okay, that's what I thought. But anyway, the savings are huge. And I've been asked the question, how do you know what my air conditioner's pumping and what this is pumping and what this is? How can you really nail down the lighting? Well, we walk around and stare at them all day long. And he calls himself a light bulb whisperer. I've gotten pretty good at it. This particular facility has has 278 1,000-watt pole lights. And if you've ever seen a 1,000-watt light bulb, bigger in your head, kind of scary looking. It needs to be in the museum. So we're taking them to 200, I think 200 watts, or 200 watts heads. Basically, so that's an 80% reduction. And all it is, it's real simple. We come into your facility, we look at your lights, we figure out what wattage is it, we count them all, we need your electric bill. People are a little strange about giving me their electric bill, and I don't understand why. So what are you afraid I'm going to pay the bill or something? I don't get that, but so it's a calculation. You're paying $8,000 a month, then your kilowatt hour or usage is way up here, and then it's a division, and it's just times it. Usually it's somewhere between 10 and 18 cents an hour. We calculate in the wattages, boom, boom, boom. This is very accurate. I've had people say that to me. So that's what that is. And here's another little deal I'll pass around real quick. Rebates. If you're on the Missouri side, you have a good opportunity. On the Kansas side, unfortunately, you don't. The rebates are gone. Don't know if Kansas is going to get their act together and get it done again. I'm not sure. I don't think they're going to.
Probably
from
not,
what I've
because
heard.
they passed a law last year that said you couldn't consider sustainability in any kind of economic evaluation.
That's Kansas?
Yeah, they try.
The thing is, we have.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But on the Missouri side, this is a little bill. If you guys would pass this around, this is a little bitty job we did on the Missouri side, a $15,000 job. And down at the bottom, you'll see where they got a negative $7,500 bill. Now, when was the last time you ever got a negative $7,500 electric bill?
Carol, keep passing that out.
Yeah, okay.
Where's that flyer you just passed out?
Well, this is something different, right?
This one's coming around. This is a different one. But again, when's the last time you ever got a negative $7,500 electric bill? Never. They're paying for half of it, up to, if you're in the Legacy area, which is the old Kansas City, Missouri downtown area, the Kansas City core, they pay up to about $42,000. So if you get an $84,000 lighting job, they're going to pay $42,000. If you're in the GMO area, St. Joe, and places like that, I think they pay up to $250,000. And this $500,000 job right here, they're going to pay $250,000 of it. So it's like, what are you waiting on?
Where are they getting the money from?
I don't know, to be honest with you. Doesn't matter to me, as long as they're paying, they're helping us get this done and reduce the emissions. Where do they get the money?
Who? KCPL?
KCPL.
No, they put a fund, it's a fund, they put it aside, basically.
I think the state of Missouri.
In order for them to pass a rate increase, they have to pass it through legislation. So when the power company wants to have a rate increase, it's kind of good to say, hey, we're doing all these extra things here. So what they do is they build a fund together where they put the money into the kitty, and when the money's used, they put it out, and anything that's left over, KCP&L puts back into the kitty for the following year.
So basically, you and I are paying.
We're paying for
help that
it through the
church or
rate
whatever.
increases. Yeah, so.
But
if
that's
you-
not going to stop. We're going to keep paying. They're going to keep going up. So you might as well take advantage of it.
It's
at your
cheaper
facility.
for them to make money by rate increases than building a power plant.
Well, the sad part about the matter is Kansas City Power and Light we're using more than they're producing. So they're buying electricity from other power plants and having it pumped in. So their thought was, instead of buying it at 18 cents an hour, we can sell it to these people cheaper, or have them use less on the grid and charge them.
Hey guys, I'm going to get personal with this. Again, I have a child. We do things. We love to do things. I love nature. I've seen changes. I don't like that version of it all, but we do things. We love nature. We play sports. We fish. I've seen changes over the years. They tell you nowadays, there's a lot of mercury in the water. Where does that come from? Well, I have studies on the backside of all of this that shows that man-made mercury poisoning, 69% of it comes from coal-fired power plants. And I didn't dream up this stuff, but it's out there. The National Lung Association talks about it. Carbons, power plants. Mercury, power plants. Coal, burning. I was sitting at the store the other day, I was sitting in a giant traffic jam the other day. Yeah, like I say, we play ball. I love the outdoors. It's what I know. It's how I grew up. And I want my child to enjoy this with his children. I want it to get better, not worse. And I fear that it is going to get worse.
Yeah.
Going back to the sports right quick, I coached football, baseball, and basketball for years. He's in high school now, thank God. I don't have to coach anymore. That was tough. It was fun, but it was tough. Little Joey's mom came up. Little Bobby's mom came up. One by one, they started coming up, and I'm like, what is that?
Dedication.
Asthma. Asthma is rampant. It is everywhere. And my son even got sick one time, and he got a horrible cough. I took him to the doctor, and I said, well, it's allergies, it's this, it's that. I said, what is it really? So I did my read. It's pollution. It's pollution. This is real. It goes on every day. Sitting at a traffic light the other day, a wreck or something, so I was just sitting there. I couldn't go anywhere for about 20 minutes. Here comes a coal train. Must have been 50, 60 cars full of coal, right? Just right up underneath me. And I'm thinking of this car light. If I can reduce their energy from 1,000 watts to 200 watts, that's 80% reduction. And I'm thinking, what if that train was cut down by 80%? Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Think about it. We're going to burn coal, there's just a lot of little things out there that I see and hear. Again, that's the neighborhood. That's what we do. That's what we do. I love nature. I took Aldi, by the way. We snowboard. I see less snow in the mountains nowadays. It's weird. Red River, New Mexico. Yeah, beautiful. Walked out right in front of her, drinking a cup of coffee, stuff like that. I don't seem to see as many of that anymore. I took that picture in Fort Morgan, Alabama. My son and I drive down the street, see a beautiful sunrise, see a beautiful sunset. I look over and said, son, that's God's artwork right there. I am. That's just the way I feel. That's who I am. I don't want to see it go away. Wow. Fort Morgan, Alabama. Destin, Florida. What is the deal here?
It's a larger picture.
Back porch. I don't remember where this one came from, but I took that one too. I don't remember where it came from. It's pretty cool. It's a camouflage looking bird. I don't know what it is. Anybody know what that is?
It's a red star.
I could never make the dang thing stop. I don't remember where I took that. I think it was somewhere in Florida, but I thought it was so beautiful. There's a lot of things I love right there. A lot of things that make me sick to my stomach. Boom. Boom. Have you ever seen smog? True smog?
Yep.
I grew up in Dallas, Texas. Went to a high school called Skyline High School. Stand out over the third floor of that thing. You have a beautiful view of downtown Dallas. Well, about 1982 or so is when it started happening. That showed up all around the skyline in Dallas. Like, what is that? That is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. And it's exactly like that. It's brownish, yellowish, orangish. It's like, what is that? Well, that's what we're dumping in the atmosphere. It makes me sick to my stomach. Oil spill, fish kill. I see people walking around with face masks on. That's Los Angeles. Horrible. Got to get rid of that. Yeah, what's that? That's interesting. It's a little silicon computer chip, solid state technology. We make light bulbs out of that. And they last forever. Pretty cool. Now that's a little job we did up in Cameron, Missouri the other day. That's me. It was cold out there that day, but we ripped out this archaic looking thing that burned about 210 watts, replaced it with a 50-watt lamp, threw some solar on there, pulled the plug. Pretty exciting stuff. She had
No
about
power bill.
What's
On those
that?
lights, no power bill.
She had about a $30,000 wiring job. It was going to cost $30,000 to trench it all up and rewire and blah, blah, blah. Everybody else came in there and bid it out as such. She goes, is there any other options? Everybody else said, no. So I just sat there, listened, took her to the side later and said, I'm not going to bid the wiring. I'm going to bid it the way it needs to be bid. Boom, got the job, got her done. Beautiful thing. That's us, replacing those things. There might be Joe up there, I'm not sure.
How much does one of those cost?
You know what? I'm going to show you a little bit something about solar here in a minute. I love solar. LED lighting gives you a huge payback, quicker. I want to do solar. I'm going to do solar. We do solar. But if you look at the return on investment, it's not the same as switching out your lighting.
Mike, I notice on here, it looks like in about 2 years, they would recoup their money.
Yeah, about
Is
2
that
2 years.
typical?
Yes.
Is it? Yeah.
Yes, about a 2-year return on your investment. So
So that's really.
I'm
good.
asking you, if you
Call it implement 2 and 3, just to be safe.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Because that's an important fact to
It's
know
huge.
when you're.
The return on investment usually accounts for how much you save per month. So if you're doing a big project and you're saving a lot of money, then the return on investment's a lot quicker than if I was just to come into this one room and just retrofit it.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. About 2 years, give or take. It depends on the facility, the size of the facility, the difficulty in installing the lighting. Commercial hours of operation. Commercial lighting can be very difficult to install, or very easy to install. But yes, about 2-year return. There's the power plant we're looking for.
That's Arizona.
That's the power plant we're looking for. This is in Germany, all over the place. The rest of the world's already embraced this technology. We seem to be standing around, looking at each other, going, what are we going to do?
Are those solar lights?
Those are LED lights, not solar.
Look at the road though. Have you
It's
seen, if you
beautiful.
go down the road and look that bright?
Here's our little solar street light out there that the residents of the little housing community, that's federal job right there. It's a little, the residents of the little community love it.
What do you use for storage on that?
Batteries. Batteries.
Okay.
You have to, because,
I
yeah.
understand, but I didn't see that.
You know what, I didn't get the picture of the battery. It's down on the pole, a little further down. Above, where nobody can reach up there and open it and try to steal them. But below, to kind of balance the weight of the pole, because they didn't quite have enough money to change those poles out. So you have to play with where you're going to put those batteries.
We also,
And they are expensive.
we installed a battery enclosure in effect where if the maintenance people had to come out and maintenance the batteries 5-10 years down the line, they wouldn't have to run a bucket lift to get up there. We put them to where they could get up there with a step ladder. That way they don't have to waste that cost coming out there with a boom truck. So we also brought that over as well.
Yeah, because they are heavy. You wouldn't believe how heavy they are.
So if my car broke down, so I didn't have to help load those. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Conveniently.
I was there.
Convenient, yeah.
Mike, go back one slide, because you guys started making a comment.
Here? Oh, here?
Nope, back to the LED lights.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that ground.
Notice the color.
It's beautiful.
The green lot, the green grass, you don't see that in our,
That's real. That is not doctored. That's a photo.
And those lights are probably used in less than a third of what the lighting they replaced use.
Joe, what they say, those are like 250 at that height, I think that's 40-some foot or more. They're about
250 watt replacement about
And those
900
those
watt,
probably,
1,000
no,
watt.
those were probably 15 to 2,000 because they're over 25 foot.
And we find something really interesting. We have this national building competition at Energy Star, and Mike and I were talking about this. Last year, the national winner of over 3,000 entries was the University of Central Florida, and what they entered was a parking lot. And what they did with the parking lot was nothing more than put LED lighting in the parking lot. And all these buildings were doing things and getting 20, 30, 40% reductions. This one parking lot got like a 60-some% reduction, and the cost and the savings were enough to pay everything. But one of the things that they also found out when they changed it is what you saw on that last slide, is the lighting conditions changed quite a bit, which also reduced the crime rate. Their thefts, their safety, the sexual assaults, all the things that you don't even think about, not to mention the maintenance.
A lot of supermarkets are putting them in because when the thieves come into a store and it's dark and dingy, nobody's watching. But when you walk in the store and it's bright, everybody's watching me right now and they're not stealing. It's amazing what the light can do for you.
Here's a little thing I came up across. I loved it. I laughed. It became necessary to destroy the village in order to save it. I love that. Coal burning jobs. Come on. Right here, outdoor air pollution officially labeled a leading environmental cause of cancer. Lung cancer is rampant. Again, I got a ton of this stuff, and if any of you guys want it,